Hi, are you looking to refresh your personal style without spending a fortune? Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, leading an organization, building a business, or simply looking to redefine your style, on today's episode, we will have someone who will help you do just that, redefine your style. We'll be joined by Jen Manson, founder of J'en ReStyle Fashion. Jen's insight will challenge you to rethink what's already hanging in your closet and discover new possibilities in fashion and in yourself. Jen is a Chicago-based fashion and lifestyle brand focused on upcycling, thrifting, sewing, and personal style. With more than 30 years of sewing experience, Jen has inspired countless women to see fashion differently by transforming overlooked garments in unique style pieces.
Yeah.
I'm curious, so how do you teach? Because you're teaching creativity, what you're doing.
Well, I'm more or less teaching people the skill because creativity really has to come from within.
Yeah.
Like you can give somebody an idea and then they can execute on it. But if they execute on it and add their own on top of it, then that is when they get to be creative.
Yeah.
So I teach people the how-to. So
Okay.
here's how you thread the sewing machine. Here's how you sew at 5/8 of an inch. Here's how you cut. Here's how you read a pattern. So I teach them that, and I've watched so many of them go on to being very creative, like really tapping into that. Some people get it, some people don't.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
Because if you can know the basics, but then taking it a little bit further.
Yeah.
Especially when somebody's saying, I want to make that.
They're like, that's what we want to do. Well, and I think some of them got it. Like some people were like, well, I want to make that. And some people were like, I want to be able to do that. Like I want to be able to see something and conceptualize what it could potentially be.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to get people to think about is looking beyond what you're seeing on the hanger. Like this morning, I had a live thrifting hour that I do about once a month on my YouTube channel. And I turn the camera on, I'm at the store, and I'm like, hey, this is what we're doing today. We're looking for summer pieces. Or I'm looking...
I told you my daughter wants to take your class.
Oh, yes. She's totally
fascinated
should.
by what you're doing. Yeah.
And I'm like, let's do it. And so we get on there, and I tell people about how to look for certain fabrics, how to look for certain patterns, what goes together, what doesn't, and really thinking about not just thrifting to just consume, but really thrifting with intention, and really thinking about, can I take this item and wear it 3 different ways? Can I turn this jacket around backwards? Can I cut this and make it into something else? So really taking your time and being focused.
And that would make a huge difference going in, where a lot of people may just go in and hunt and then see you're teaching them ahead of time, and that helps.
Right.
Do you give them anything that maybe can stimulate their creativity, where to look or where to do that? Do you give them any of that?
Yeah, so I encourage folks to go on social media, go on Instagram, follow some of the design houses and look at what they're putting out on the runway and looking to see how they style. Don't just look at the piece as something that looks really fabulous. I mean, it's nice that it is, but look at how they structure. For instance, you notice that if something is really heavy or balloon on the top, then the bottom is usually skinny. If something is more revealing on the top, then it's less revealing on the bottom. You want to look at proportions and balance. That's really important. So beyond just, oh, I really like that, that's really nice. Just really look at it for what it is. And that's why the designers are successful, because they're putting these pieces together and they're really styling them, and that's what you want to think about.
Yeah. And even though it's very creative, there is a formula behind it. So giving them those basics is also part of what you're teaching.
Exactly.
So your motto is every piece has a past.
Yes.
You give it.
future.
What does that mean to you?
So what you'll notice when you look at my pieces, I'm always paying homage to what something once was. So for instance, when I use ties, you're going to be able to tell somewhere it was a tie. I either leave a tag on there that says 100% silk or the name of the designer of the tie, but you're going to know that used to be a tie. Or with the jeans and the denim, you're going to see a pocket, or you'll see that fifth pocket or a little rivet, and you'll know, wow, that came from like the top part of the jeans. So you're always going to be able to see a little piece of that. And I just think that, you know, we have a lot of things in our closet that can get a little bit more life instead of discarding them. It's nice if you can pass it off to someone that you know is going to really use it, but to toss it, I think, you know, don't really want people to do that. But maybe it just needs a little adjustment. And I want to give that piece more life. And I want to take it just a little step further. Now, it doesn't mean that you can do this with everything, but there are certain things that you can. You know, it might be a pair of jeans. It might even be a trench coat. You know, cropped trench coats are really in style.
Very in.
You may have a trench coat. You're like, I don't want to wear that old frumpy trench coat. As soon as you cut it off, all of a sudden it's stylish. You know, throw a hem in it, and now you're wearing it for the next couple of seasons. And so now you've taken it and you've given it a future. And maybe you take the bottom of it and you put some elastic in it and make a skirt. So now you got two pieces. And so I try to get people to think about whatever you cut off, what can you do then with that? Can you turn it into something else? Is it enough to make another piece? And then that way you're not being wasteful.
Life after.
Always
Life after.
Yeah.
So have you had, you know, blocks or difficulties along the way with your business?
Yeah.
Tell us
You know,
a little bit about that.
it's not easy trying to balance a full-time job and try to be, you know, a creator. So my weekends are very full. My weekends are doing things like this. My weekends are on the sewing machine, because by the time I finish with work, I'm so tired, I can't do anything. So Friday night to Sunday night, I am, you know, all in.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest challenge, is just trying to find time. It's so interesting. 2 weeks ago, I did a show for The Rise, I forget what it's called, Social Affair. And it was Jasmine Sullivan from ABC, and Robin Roberts was there. And someone stole my camera that night. Yeah. So I did not have a camera for a couple of days, and I had to run out and get the camera. Then the following weekend, my laptop completely died. Opened it up, it was completely black screen. And I said, you know what? I need to slow down. This is.
I was going to ask you, how do you manage that? You know,
I
what do you do
just
with that?
said, you know what? I told my subscribers, no video this week.
Yeah.
Not until, it's going to be 2 weeks before we get a video, but you can watch shorts. So I use my phone, and I just recorded, you know, some shorts and some reels, and I communicated, this is what's going on. But I was able to take that time and just kind of relax for a while.
Did you take it a little bit as a message from the universe that you got to slow down?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
No,
was
and
like,
it does. I mean,
it
you get
does.
those, and you've
Yeah.
got to pay attention to that.
I had to.
So glad you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise something worse. It's like you're
Right.
not listening, you're going to listen, right?
You're going to
So-
listen. And then last night I went to an event, and I started feeling like I was coming down with something. I was like, you know what? I just got the laptop back, and I had planned to be on it all night. And I said, you know what? I'm going to leave it in the bag. I'm going to go to bed, take not an energy shot, but one of those immunity boosts. And I'm going to lay down and drink some water and rest. And I woke up this morning feeling a lot better. So it's things like that that I think, you know, maybe 10 years ago I wasn't paying attention to, but now it's so important, just for health reasons. Just take the time off. Sometimes you just need to.
So are there some recommendations that you give, because you also style and people call you and they ask for
Right.
recommendations and things like that? Like what are the things that you look for in an individual to give them some suggestions?
Sure. So one of the things that I do when I am working with a client on personal style is I have to look at their closets, and then I look at photos.
So get your closets ready, people.
Get your closets ready. But I look at photos because people will tell you, oh, I like this, I like color, and then you see all they wear is black and brown and gray.
Yeah.
It's like, do you really like color, or are you afraid? And you like it in theory.
Yeah.
So look at past photos, look what's in their closet, and start to get them to think about what's already in the closet instead of going out and buying new. Because a lot of times we have pieces in our closet that can be mixed and matched, and we're so thinking about the way that it was on the mannequin and how it was styled in the store. And that's fine, but that jacket can also, that blazer can also go with jeans, can go with slacks, can go with skirts, can be worn different ways. So I try to get people to think outside of that. And once they start thinking like that, then it ignites some creativity in them. Or maybe it doesn't. But if it does, then they start looking at their closets differently. And they're like, wow, that's something I haven't had on in so long. Well, why haven't you worn it? Well, I didn't have anything to wear with it. You can throw it on with this. And sometimes people don't just think, I can just throw on like a dress like what you have over some jeans. You know, you can layer and throw a blazer on top of that. Then you change the whole look.
Right.
So I try to get people to think beyond what is on the hanger and what it could potentially be.
And then do you sometimes give them suggestions on how to recycle and move pieces of it around? Maybe there's
Right.
some pieces, especially if there's some expensive pieces, right?
And that's why I really love thrifting, because thrifting allows you to play around with your style on a budget, so you're not spending so much money, so you have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah.
Looking through the closets, looking at photos of them, finding out what they actually really like, and realistically, does that work for your lifestyle? You know, because sometimes we see things on the rack and, oh, that's beautiful. But if you aren't a person who goes out a lot or travels a lot, or you're in an office, you know, you might see a gray suit, but if you work from home, when are you going to really wear that, you know?
Right.
So I think you just have to know people's lifestyle, what it is they really like, and think about all those things to help.
I know. I have so many dresses for galas. I go to a lot of them, but I tell my friends, if you need one, just come on over.
Yeah.
I'll lend you something.
I have no shortage of gala dresses
Yeah.
either.
You know, but there's so many events.
There's so many events.
Thank goodness we get invited.
Yes, exactly.
But after a while, there's just so many.
Yeah.
And so is there one, fashion rule you think can be broken, or a few of them that you would say, go ahead and break those?
I think one of the biggest fashion myths out there is that we have to, especially for women, we have to dress our age.
Right.
Because what does that actually mean? Personally, I think whatever you like, you should wear. However wild it is, however conservative it might be. If you like it, wear it. I think we get pushed into these places where people are like, you shouldn't wear this because it's too short, or it's too long, or it's too this or this too that. And I just firmly believe that you should wear what you love. And if you want to mix colors and patterns, I feel like you should do that. You do what works for you. And I think it's also true that once you get past a certain point in life, you don't really care.
No, you don't.
You're just like, hey,
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
This is the way I like to live my life.
This is what I like.
This is my look. So.
Exactly.
And I have a lot of girlfriends that really look at their assets, right? So if they've got great legs, they'll wear shorter.
Right.
If they've got long legs, they'll show those off, or good arms, or whatever. It kind of depends on what their assets are.
Definitely.
And they highlight them.
Yeah, and we should be doing that, because that is also going to elevate your confidence. If you know you're showing off a part that really works for you, then it raises your confidence. People are going to pay you compliments. And I always tell folks as well, when people say, well, I don't know what looks good on me. What do you wear and your friends are always like, oh my gosh, you look so good today? It could be the color. It could be the style. keep doing that.
Yes.
You know, and I also
Take notes of that because that'll help you out.
it totally helps
And
you
I
out.
think we should be saying that. You know, something looks good on a friend, let them know.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah, that's what girlfriends are for, right? That's
Exactly.
what friends are for. You know,
Pay a
share
compliment.
that because
Yeah.
I think that does boost people's egos, and
It
then
does.
it also, you know, informs them of what might look good on them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, a couple of years ago, I had some folks on my YouTube channel that would be like, oh, you know, you should wear it. Lavender looks so good on you. Or I would wear it. I had very little lavender, very little purple, because I just don't like the color. And every time I would wear it, somebody would always say how good it looked. And it just really brights up. And I'm like, I don't like it. So I started embracing lavender. And now every time I wear it, I get a compliment. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to lean into it. It may not be my favorite, but whatever it is, I can
Creating
style
an
it.
energy around you too that
Exactly.
that you might not be able to see, but people are able to feel, which is also
Exactly.
I think that's nice. I could see you in lavender. I
Yeah.
could see that would be
Yeah, it
good.
works really well. So
Yeah.
I just leaned into it. And now I have like 4 or 5 outfits that are lavender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a lot of red, and I'm not always that comfortable initially because
Yeah.
it is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
But I get a lot of compliments, and then once I got it on, and then I get going,
Yeah.
I notice the energy changes.
Yes.
around it. I mean, red is a strong color, right? Not everybody can wear it.
Right.
So I once I'm in it,
Yeah.
then I'm good. Then I feel it, you know.
Right.
Then I'm like, okay, this is a good color for me. But
Yeah.
again, if it was up to my friends, they'd have me in red a lot.
Yeah.
They would. 'cause
I
they're
could
all
see
like,
that. I
"Oh,
could see you in red with a red lip too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so I have to tell you, I just went to a show in New York, and it was funny because I was going to do red, and I had picked out this one dress. And it was Flying Solo, Elizabeth, who runs it. Yeah, I love them. I
yes.
love them. So Elizabeth invited me. They had an awards show. And I had picked out the dress, and I was going to call her and tell her, you know, I really want this red dress.
Right.
I didn't get a chance to. And I had 2 outfits that I was taking anyway, just in case. I was more than fine. I go on the runway, you know, they had on the red carpet, I'm sorry. And she's there greeting me, and I go, oh my goodness. I was about to put on that dress. And I went with somebody, and I go, it looks gorgeous on you. It was a gorgeous dress, obviously. She goes, I love red. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you know. So something saved me there.
Yeah,
'Cause I
for
would have
sure.
had left. I would have left. She, you know,
Right.
it was her night. So,
Yeah.
you know,
You
out
don't
of
want to do that.
respect. But yeah, red is a tough one for me to get in, but once I get in, it changes that. So, you know what I like too is I like white as an accent, and I'm so glad. You know,
Pantone.
yeah, yeah.
Cloud white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's kind of funny. There's all these rules that I think people put out there, and you have to see what fits you.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And I just say experiment as much as possible because you never know when you're going to come across that one thing that is just going to elevate, and lean into it. You know, don't be afraid of color, or don't be afraid of a pop of colors. You don't have to go full on red or full on yellow or full on orange, but if you prefer, you know, your blacks, then you can accent it with a pretty scarf, you know, that brings a pop of color. So there's so many things that you can do with your clothing, and I just try to get people to think more about that. I do a lot of I have a series called the ReStyle Edit, and each month I do a video where I take either something that I upcycle, or I pull some pieces from my closet, and we mix and match just to see like how many times can I wear this with something else. And I just start pulling stuff, and I'm like, does this look good? I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Do I like it? Now I've just found something that gives me another option. So I always tell people, play in your closets, pull things out, wear things together, do all of that in your mirror before you leave the house.
Yeah.
And then that's super
'cause
helpful.
out of sight, out of mind, right? And so that's a great advice. I
Yeah.
think people really have to dig in there. They've got so many treasures.
Right.
And you know, I'm thinking I do have some stuff. I try to move my stuff around, but I do have some things that I probably haven't touched.
Yeah.
And some jeans. Maybe I'll get them too. I'm sure you'll come
Yep.
up with some. So, is there one piece that you can remember that you completely transformed that's like one of your favorite items?
I do.
Which one is
I do. So there is this denim piece that I've used in the last 2 shows as part of the finale, and it took about, maybe like, I would say 30 to 40 pairs of jeans, maybe even more
Wow,
to
really?
make. Yeah, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. It's a full-on denim gown,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
it's patchwork all the
Okay.
way through, and it's just gorgeous. It's got pockets. We all love pockets.
Yes.
It's got a long sleeve, so it's definitely a fall winter type piece, but it's beautiful, and that is probably my favorite one. So it started off as a shorter dress, and loved it that way as well, but I always in the back of my head envisioned it having a train, being really full. And I was like, you know what? I took the hem out of it, I pressed it, and I just started adding more patchwork to the bottom. And when I got finished with it, I was like, now I absolutely love this. So that's probably my favorite piece. It's all denim. It's like kind of fitted here at the top, and it comes up the neck a little bit like a mock kind of turtleneck, but it's all frayed edges. Like everything is frayed and distressed.
On top of that,
yes,
make sure everything was free.
everything. So it's all distressed here, but it's got this structured cuff, and then the bottom is all distressed, and then some of the patchwork has a little distressing. So like you see a pocket, you'll see a back pocket, you'll see a front pocket here, you'll see some distressing on the sleeve, and then on the sleeve I also have a little distressing going down each sleeve, and I just love this piece, and I've had it in the last 2 shows, so gonna be retiring it. It'll be worn by me, but it won't be that'll be the last time that it was shown.
Curious, do you do pop-ups?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been trying not to do as many this year because I had so many shows to do, and I didn't want to sell anything because then I'd have to make another piece to replace it. So I'll be doing more pop-ups the rest of the year.
And do you do collections?
I do. So whenever I'm showing, I'm doing a collection it's usually a fall, winter. I very rarely do spring, summer. So most of my pieces, because it's denim, it's menswear.
I was going to say it's a heavier.
Yeah. Now I will do some spring because, for us, it just warmed up.
Yeah.
We had a cold May.
We have a month of spring.
We have about a month, yeah. If
maybe
we're lucky.
2 months of summer.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the truth.
So I use maybe lighter weight suiting to make pieces. But for the most part, my things are heavier denims, men's suiting, men's ties.
And do you name your collection?
No, I haven't named them. No,
Well,
but
you
I've been
should name
thinking
one.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We have to figure out how to get you involved this year with Runway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
And
I've been to...
we get people that come in from all over the world.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. I had a front row seat, I think it was 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
I did.
I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that. Well, we'll
Yep.
have to have you back.
Okay.
So, last question.
Mhm.
If you could leave our audience with one message about fashion, sustainability, and personal style, what would that be?
So, I know, the fashion industry produces a lot of waste. However, I don't think the solution is about shaming people about buying new clothes. I will never tell people, don't go to Zara, don't go to Nordstrom. But what I will say is, when you're shopping, look at the labels and try to buy natural fibers when you can, and try to buy pieces that are going to be more classic and last a bit longer. So stay away from the trends and buy pieces that you can keep for years to come. Doesn't mean that everything has to be that, but if you're gonna spend $200, $300, $400, $500 on something, make it be something that's going to last, that is going to be timeless, that you can wear for the next 10 years or more, or that you can even hand down to someone. So if you're going to buy, an expensive bag, or, a beautiful pair of shoes, or a really nice suit, is this something that 5 years from now you'll still want to wear?
Right.
Or a portion of it you'll want to wear. And that's what I really want people to think about. So I'm not going to say, don't buy anything new and only buy thrift, because we can be, over consumers even in the thrift store,
right,
and still have stuff hanging in the closets. Right. Even then, you still should be looking at labels and thinking about how much wear can I get out of each piece. And I think everything we buy, regardless if it's new or thrifted, can you wear that piece 3 different ways? And if you can, then get it.
And I think understanding quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that takes studying.
It does.
I mean, I remember when I was growing up, we didn't have tons of money to spend,
Mm-hmm.
but I always liked designer items,
Yeah.
and I liked good quality and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I used to go and I used to study, and my dad studied the magazines,
Yeah.
Women's Wear Daily.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go with my dad. My dad was a tailor turned
Mm-hmm.
designer. It's another story
Nice.
that I've told a couple of times here.
Yeah.
But I'd go with him, and he'd teach me what different fabrics were,
Right.
and what different qualities were,
Mhm.
and then turn everything around.
Yeah.
Look at the lining. Look at this. Look at that. So I really learned that.
Right.
And you have to study it. It is
Do.
important. So if you want to know what good quality is, what a good piece is,
Mm-hmm.
what will not be, gone and just trendy.
Right.
You have to kind of study it a little bit and
You do.
learn. And then if you're going to go in and you're going to thrift
Mhm.
and you're going to look, you may have a diamond that you may pass up because you don't understand
Right.
who that designer is, or how it was made, or the original value of it.
That's right.
So
That's
all of
right.
that takes studying. And,
Yeah.
no, and I think it's important. And it's important for us to not be fashion snobs either.
Right. That too.
We're all learning.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
For sure.
We're all learning. But thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thanks
you.
for everything that you are doing.
Oh,
I
thank
don't know
you.
how you're doing it all.
But I love, this is what energizes me. And I was telling folks today that, do what you love, do what makes you happy, because that's what life is really about. And it's so short. And, we could be gone tomorrow, but live and do the things that really make your heart swell. And that's what's really important.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
You glow when you
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.